You were caught robbing a diamond exchange.
Oh, was not.
What a wild ride it's been, huh? An incredible journey. Not too dissimilar from Brendan Fraser taking that trip to the center of the earth. Just look at us, you and me. Look at how much we've grown. Not physically, I've already maxed prestige on height, but emotionally, we've come so far. Bonded like brothers, only closer. Through our Bricks and Minifigs Lego Scandal adventure. And now, the train is reaching its station, much to the chagrin of Ammon McNeff, who's the primary clown at the center of the Bricks and Minifigs circus. No doubt he's soiling his diaper in a tearful tantrum over this having to be the path that they walk. There's two things Ammon hates, and it's shaving his mustache and reaching a resolution with the people that him and his company have wronged. And unfortunately, he's had to do one of the two. So they have publicly announced the resolution with the Mansell family, which is the family that started all of this, where they brought in a very valuable Lego collection and everything went tits up. And this has led to a huge avalanche that is just torpedoed Bricks and Minifigs, and all of it very avoidable. This was all easily preventable from their side if they had just been more willing to work with the family. And then, even by extension, working with the people that were investigating it, like Reckless Ben and everything, but they refused, they dug their heels in, they kept looking like fucking idiots every step of the way, caught in numerous lies. Ammon McNeff went on more podcasts than fucking Gary Vee. Like, he was going everywhere and just constantly embarrassing himself. So, Bricks and Minifigs' reputation circled the shitter. They've really torpedoed the brand, and it's just been a catastrophe for them. So, with their back up against the wall, dick in hand, they finally decided to do what they should have done from the very beginning, and actually reaching a resolution with the Mansell family for what happened through Bricks and Minifigs here. And I am confident this is the last thing Ammon McNeff wanted. Like, actually, the very last thing. He tried everything else. I wouldn't be surprised if he started getting into voodoo magic, performing rituals on minifigs of Reckless Ben and Brian Mansell directly, like poking needles in there. But none of it worked. So now they've finally compensated the Mansell family for all this hoopla, and they've publicly released a statement going over it, talking about their amicable resolution of a private civil dispute relating to the Mansell family's Lego Star Wars collection. The thing goes on to point the finger at the previous owners of that Oregon store as like the main culprit for everything that went wrong. They kind of just run the bus over them there. This settlement agreement is a compromise of disputed claims. It's not an admission of liability, wrongdoing, or unlawful conduct by BAM, the Mansells, or any other released party. Mansell's confirmed they've been compensated by BAM for the losses associated with their consignment arrangement and thus are releasing all their legal claims against BAM, its leadership, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, Brandon Best, or any current Bricks and Minifigs franchisee. BAM, the McNeffs, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, and Brandon Best likewise will dismiss their lawsuits against Brian Mansell. Which, that's great news because they did have Brian Mansell named in a very chunky, really spicy piece of legislation that would have just only further fuckified them, even though they are victims of this whole case here. So it's good that those have now been dismissed. Through the exchange of records and information during the legal and mediation process, parties developed a more complete understanding of what occurred. The underlying dispute arose from a consignment contract between the Mansell family and the Salem Kaiser Oregon store. BAM, Baker Salem, Josh Johnson, and Brandon Best were not parties to it. The Mansell's losses arose in part from the scale, accounting, storage, and disposition of inventory by the former operator of the store. So they're really wiggling the finger at the Gormans. It's all their fault. It all stems from them. They caused all of this. Boo! Boo! And from CoffeeZilla's reporting, it does seem very clear that how they handled the inventory here on this collection was suboptimal and very weird and questionable. And it did create the problems in a large capacity, but that's not the only piece that led to this being such a disaster. It's how Bricks and Minifigs handled it after that mistake. And, to be fair, the Gormans on camera were even mentioning when they were being taken over, hey, we have this inventory, we got to make sure that he's compensated and all of that. And that just kind of fell on deaf ears. And then there was a lot, like, yes, they do bear a lot of responsibility for how things unfolded. Like, that is true. They did not handle the inventory properly, and it led to a lot of confusion and a lot of things falling through the cracks. But it's not like they're the only party at blame here for what happened to this Lego Star Wars collection. Bricks and Minifigs was completely just off their fucking gourd throughout this entire case. Like, even outside of, like, the Reckless Bin coverage, from everything else that had been brought up, like from Mansell to the corporation and everything, it was just ridiculous off rip and very combative and aggressive from that corporation. And then they got caught in so many lies. Like, there are so many things they lied about that there's even footage contradicting them, proving them incorrect, and then they just changed their story. They're like, oh yeah, so yep, you're right. So that's not real. So here's the new story. And it's like, it's crazy. So yes, it is irrefutable that previous leadership of that store is what started this, and it wasn't handled the right way. But Bricks and Minifigs also bears a huge responsibility for how messy all of it got. I think it's a little absurd that they're going to solely put the blame on previous leadership at the store when a lot more went wrong than just that. This was something that could have been solved privately, quietly, peacefully. It never needed to blow up into some shit like this. That is entirely on Bricks and Minifigs, the corporation, like the headquarters, the think tank there. That is on their shoulders. All of that financial blood is on their hands. Like, their reputation ate shit because of their behavior. As part of the settlement, Brian Mansell has assigned to BAM his claims under the original consignment contract. BAM may elect to pursue these claims against those responsible. The Mansells have agreed to provide relevant records in support of BAM's claims. The parties believe this places responsibility for remedying any remaining fault with the appropriate parties. BAM recognizes that the Mansell family experienced a genuine loss, prolonged uncertainty, and considerable frustration after the original contract was not properly administered by the former operator of the store and during the transition from the former operator to the replacement franchisees. I like how they're like, oh, this must have been so frustrating for them. It was so drawn out and uncertain. That's on you guys. It's not like that was a Mansell family that was deciding to, like, fucking, leave this out to dry. That was entirely on you. And it's like, man, it must have been frustrating for them, huh? And then, of course, they're like, yep, it wasn't properly administered from previous owners to the replacements, even though, again, it is on camera, her alerting them to this consignment, like, and what is there, and it just never got taken care of or addressed or anything. BAM regrets that it did not more quickly access information necessary to understand and resolve the matter. BAM has issued an unqualified apology to the Mansell family for the losses and pain suffered from the events surrounding this dispute. The parties recognize that many Bricks and Minifigs franchises and employees had no involvement with events surrounding this dispute and hope that this resolution brings closure to everyone affected and all may return to their normal business activities and personal lives. Yeah, Bricks and Minifigs is desperately hoping that this is something that can just blow over and they all just move on from and people continue to do business with Bricks and Minifigs. I still wouldn't. Like, yeah, they eventually did this. So many months later. It took so long, like pulling teeth, such a painful, drawn out, and terrifying experience for the Mansell family. Keep in mind, Bricks and Minifigs had them on the fucking meat hooks. They had them dangling by the beef curtains there. They had them named in a lawsuit, all just because they were victims of Bricks and Minifigs fucking them. So, like, that's entirely on Bricks and Minifigs, and that showcases that the company is not very trustworthy. So if you are someone that wants to do business with Bricks and Minifigs and you have a problem, you best start praying for a miracle. Because now you've got a huge issue. Bricks and Minifigs won't help you. You're shit out of luck. And not only will they not help you, they'll even be like a fucking obstacle. They'll be your worst enemy, even if you are the victim of something that has gone wrong in their pipeline. That is not a brand that I would ever feel comfortable doing business with. So, like, yes, they have finally done the right thing here with compensating the Mansell family, but they've only done it after a nationwide mainstream coverage for over 2 months now of everyone shining the spotlight on this, everyone talking about it, and now at the very end they've decided to do what they should have done from the very beginning if this was a company of integrity. So, like, it doesn't instill confidence in this brand, at least not in my eyes. And I hope people won't just be blinded by that. Like, oh, look, see, they finally did it. So now everything's good. It's still inexcusable the way they've behaved publicly and what they've tried to do to, like, the Mansell family, like, in that lawsuit. Like, it's ridiculous. The family was the one that was wronged, and yet they were still further. I told Emma I didn't need it, and she canceled it on like Wednesday.
This'll be a slaughter. Follow my blade. Into battle.
Minions have spawned.
This'll be a slaughter.
An ally has been slain.
Into battle.
Ally has been slain.
My flyer awaits.
Enemy has been slain. Enemy has been slain. Killing spree.
I am your
An enemy has been slain.
as you wish. Follow my blade.
executed.